Imagine being told to erase every memory of your first love. Every photo, every lyric, every trace. That's exactly what shocking new reports claim Benny Blanco asked Selena Gomez to do. And the reason? Justin Bieber. It started quietly. Right after Selena's album dropped earlier this year, fans noticed her Instagram looked different. Some old posts disappeared, captions changed. Even her once beloved playlists were gone. At first, people thought it was just a rebrand, until insiders revealed that Benny had urged Selena to cleanse her digital life of anything connected to Justin. He called it mental decluttering, but to many, it felt like control disguised as care. Selena's fans have watched her for years, from her early love story with Justin to her slow, painful rise into peace. Their history wasn't just a teenage romance. It became a pop culture timeline, a cycle of love and heartbreak written into her music. So, when Benny reportedly asked her to delete every reminder of that part of her life, fans were stunned. Was this healing or rewriting history? Sources close to Selena said it didn't stop at social media. Benny allegedly encouraged her to distance herself from mutual friends, reject interview questions about Justin, and even clear old private photos from her cloud. It wasn't just about moving forward, it was about erasing what came before. The moment fans realized how deep this went was when Selena quietly archived her iconic 2017 photo, the one where she wore Justin's hockey jersey. It had millions of likes, it symbolized an era, and now it was gone. Insiders claim Benny wanted Selena's image to stand on its own. No comparisons, no ghost comments, no constant mentions of her ex. But others saw something darker. Some said Benny viewed Justin as a shadow over their relationship, one he needed to eliminate completely. Then came the music. Selena's new songs carried themes of forgetting, cleansing, starting over. But fans noticed that Benny was listed as co-writer and producer on nearly all of them. One track's lyrics hit hard, "You can't love me if you love my ghost." Suddenly, fans weren't sure if that was poetry or confession. When word spread that Benny had allegedly removed an unreleased Selena demo rumored to be about Justin from her upcoming Ducks album, the narrative shifted. This wasn't just emotional influence, it was creative control. Producers whispered that Benny often insists on emotional exclusivity when working with artists, wanting their focus fully on the present. But to fans, it looked like control. As speculation grew, Selena's once bright interviews turned cautious. She avoided emotional questions. She skipped red carpets. Even her friends began fading from public view. Every move looked more choreographed, as if Benny wasn't just producing her songs, but her life. Then came the viral clip, Selena leaving a restaurant in tears while Benny walked ahead, expression cold. Within hours, Han-free Selena trended. People began calling Benny manipulative. Others defended him, claiming he was protecting her peace. Meanwhile, Justin's name crept back into the headlines when he liked a cryptic post that read, "Some memories never fade." It was enough to reignite the storm. By now, the internet was divided. Half believed Benny was helping Selena finally heal. The other half feared he was rewriting her identity. And when she performed at a charity concert, without singing "The Heart Wants What It Wants," the verdict was clear for many. Selena had begun erasing her musical history too. The story snowballed. TikToks compared her old, glowing interviews about Justin with her newer, reserved tone beside Benny. Comments flooded in. "She doesn't even sound like herself anymore." Even brands reportedly grew concerned about the narrative surrounding her silence. And while Selena stayed quiet, Benny smiled for the cameras, posting studio selfies, acting like nothing was wrong. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's denial. Either way, the woman we once knew, the open, vulnerable Selena who wore her scars like poetry, seems to be fading. In her place is someone quieter, more curated, more controlled. Whether that's peace or suppression depends on who you ask. Because right now, one thing's clear. Benny Blanco hasn't just entered Selena Gomez's life, he's helping rewrite it. And if history's taught us anything, what's hidden today will be tomorrow's headline. So stay tuned, because this story, it's far from over. If you're still watching, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the next update. The next chapter in Selena and Benny's story might just change everything we thought we knew. If you listen closely, the silence around Selena has started to sound like a message of its own. She hasn't clapped back, she hasn't confirmed the rumors, but her absence, her quietness, says more than words ever could. Fans who once heard strength in her voice now hear distance. Weeks after the Quiet One leak, she resurfaced in a short clip promoting her new fragrance. She looked flawless, calm, polished. But fans couldn't ignore how different her tone felt. Every word seemed measured, every smile a little delayed. One comment summed it up perfectly. "She's glowing, but she's dimmed." Behind the scenes, more unsettling details emerged. Sources from the industry whispered that Selena had turned down several interviews where she might be asked about her past. She'd even postponed a mental health awareness podcast she'd planned to host, the same kind of candid platform that once made her fans love her openness. Meanwhile, Benny appeared unaffected, still posting pictures in studios, joking with artists, acting as if the chaos didn't exist. His caption on one post read, "You can't be haunted if you burn the house down." The internet exploded. Was it shade? A flex? A warning? No one could tell. But everyone agreed. It was tone deaf. Then fans noticed something even stranger. Selena's Rare Beauty social media pages began shifting their branding tone. Gone were the emotional captions about self-love and authenticity. In their place were cleaner, shorter posts, just product, lighting, and color. No voice, no warmth. It felt corporate, distant. Even her brand's personality seemed muted. People close to Selena say she's been retreating further into herself. She still works. She still shows up. But emotionally, she's unreachable. Friends describe her as checked out, as though she's there physically. But her spark, the thing that made her Selena, has gone quiet. Fans can feel it too. Every live appearance is dissected. Her posture, her tone, even how long she takes to smile. The woman who once turned pain into poetry now feels like a character someone else is writing. And that's the tragedy here. This story isn't just about jealousy or control. It's about identity. What happens when a woman tries so hard to please the world, she ends up erasing the very parts that made her powerful. Selena's always been a symbol of survival, from heartbreak, from fame, from illness, from loss. But now, she's facing something deeper, the quiet loss of herself. And that's something no one can delete, no matter how carefully they scrub the past, because the truth always leaves traces. And the internet, the fans, the people who grew up watching her, they remember the real Selena Gomez, the one who sang through pain, who cried on camera, who turned brokenness into art. And maybe she remembers that girl too, hidden somewhere under the quiet, waiting to be heard again. Then, out of nowhere, came a flicker of rebellion, small, almost imperceptible, but real. During a live performance at a private benefit show in Los Angeles, Selena surprised everyone by singing a few bars of The Heart Wants What It Wants. It wasn't on the set list. It wasn't rehearsed. She just did it. Her voice cracked midway through, but she kept going. The crowd, mostly industry insiders and charity guests, froze. Phones came up instantly. Within hours, clips flooded TikTok, captioned, "She's taking her power back." And for a moment, it felt like the old Selena, unfiltered, emotional, raw, had resurfaced. But the aftermath was tense. Reports claimed Benny wasn't thrilled. Someone from the event leaked that he left early, visibly irritated, mumbling something about mixed messaging. Insiders say that after the performance, Selena's team went into damage control mode, making sure the video didn't spread too far. But it was too late. It had already gone viral. Fans flooded the internet with messages like, "She's breaking free," and "You can delete photos, but not her truth." The performance sparked a movement. Hashtags like "None Let Selena Sing" and "Selena Unfiltered" started trending. Fans began revisiting her old songs, treating them like diary entries she wasn't allowed to read anymore. Edits comparing then and now flooded every platform. Benny's silence, once interpreted as confidence, started to feel defensive. His comment sections filled with accusations, people calling him controlling, manipulative, even Hollywood's quiet villain. Meanwhile, Selena's fan base mobilized. What began as concern had turned into a cultural outcry, but then came another twist. Just a few days after that performance, Selena posted a carousel on Instagram. The first photo was a simple sunset. The second, a blurry black and white picture of her at the piano, her face half hidden in shadow. The caption? "Not everything can be rewritten." That single line shattered the internet. People said it was a message to Benny, a reminder that no matter how much gets deleted, the truth of her past and her heart can't be erased. Others believed it was her soft goodbye to the version of herself she'd been forced to silence. And maybe that's what made it powerful. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, but defiant. The kind of quiet that says, "I remember who I am." Since then, Selena's been seen more often without Benny, attending events solo, smiling differently. The way you smile when you're finally breathing again. Nothing's confirmed, nothing's denied. But her eyes, her posture, the small details tell a story all their own. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to shout your truth. It's to simply stop pretending. And maybe, just maybe, that's what Selena's doing now. The world might still be debating whether Benny helped her heal or tried to rewrite her. But one thing is clear. Selena Gomez is remembering herself again. Slowly, quietly, beautifully. And if there's one thing Hollywood always underestimates, it's a woman who's finally done being silent. In the weeks that followed, the tension between silence and defiance began to take on a rhythm, the kind that only someone like Selena could turn into art. She wasn't ranting on social media or dropping statements through PR reps. Instead, she began posting fragments, pieces of poetry, photos drenched in nostalgia, captions that felt like whispers from the version of her the world missed. One post read, "Some memories age well because they refuse to die." Another simply said, "He taught me how to love the wrong way." No tags, no explanations. But every word felt deliberate. Fans started saying she was talking in Morse code, and honestly, maybe she was. Then came the moment that truly shifted everything. Selena was seen leaving a studio late one night, alone, wearing a faded Purpose Tour hoodie. Yes, that hoodie, the one from Justin's 2016 tour. Cameras flashed, questions were shouted, but she just smiled, that old, calm, fearless smile, and got into her car. The internet lost its mind. Some called it messy, others called it symbolic. But most fans agreed on one thing: it didn't feel accidental. Around the same time, a rumor started circulating that Selena had reconnected with a few of her old collaborators, producers and songwriters who'd worked with her during the revival era, before Benny came into the picture. Sources claim she'd been booking solo sessions under a different project name, quietly building something of her own again. Something raw, something real. One insider put it perfectly. She's finding her voice again, and this time, it's not for anyone else's comfort. Meanwhile, Benny's public appearances grew noticeably colder. Gone were the affectionate posts and public shoutouts. Instead, his captions turned cryptic. Lines like, "Sometimes silence is the only apology," and "You can't fix what was never broken." It didn't take long for people to start connecting the dots. Rumors of a split began circulating everywhere. Neither confirmed it, but the signs were too loud to ignore. Separate appearances, unfollowing certain fan accounts, and most telling of all, Selena's decision to perform at a mental health charity event without Benny's involvement. And that performance, it was electric. She sang "Lose You to Love Me," stripped down, piano only. Midway through, her voice cracked, but she didn't stop. The crowd went silent, not in pity, but in awe. For the first time in a long time, she looked free. That performance didn't need press releases or explanations. It was her statement, emotional, quiet, final. Because maybe healing doesn't always look like smiling for the cameras or deleting your past. Sometimes it looks like standing on a stage, trembling, and choosing to sing the truth anyway. Selena Gomez isn't the same girl who once apologized for loving too loudly. She's the woman who learned that silence can be survival. But finding your voice again? That's power. And for fans watching now, one thing feels certain. This isn't the end of her story. It's just the part where she starts writing it herself. A week later, something unexpected happened. Selena dropped a teaser. Just a 12-second clip on her Instagram story. No captions, no context. A slow piano, a single lyric. "You tried to rewrite me." That was it. No announcement, no pre-save link, no Benny tag. But the internet exploded. Fans called it her soft comeback, her quiet declaration of independence. Music insiders confirmed it wasn't tied to any of Benny's projects. It was hers alone. Within 24 hours, hashtags like Chuck Selena Rewrites Herself and The Unwritten Era started trending worldwide. Comment sections filled with messages like, "She's speaking again," and "This is the Selena we've been waiting for." The energy felt different. Not chaotic or reactive, but grounded, mature, and fearless. Then, almost poetically, Benny deleted several of his own posts, including one of them together. No statement followed, just digital silence. Fans interpreted it as confirmation that the two were done, but what mattered more was how Selena handled it. She didn't unfollow him. She didn't shade him. She just kept posting fragments of her art, photos from her studio, late-night scribbles, and quiet quotes about rediscovery. A few days later, she appeared on Good Morning America, calm, glowing, and wearing no visible ring. When asked about her new music, she smiled and said, "It's about remembering what can't be erased." It wasn't bitter. It wasn't defensive. It was peace. The audience cheered. Viewers could feel it. That rare, steady energy of someone who's finally done surviving and has started living. In a single interview, she dismantled the entire narrative of control, heartbreak, and silence that had been built around her. No drama, no dig, just quiet ownership of her truth. And that's what made it so powerful. Music journalists began calling this her Renaissance era, not because she reinvented herself, but because she reclaimed herself. The woman who once let others dictate her story now stood completely in charge of it. Meanwhile, Justin, Benny, Haley all faded back into background noise. Because this wasn't about them anymore, it was about her. The last frame of her teaser finally dropped that weekend. The full lyric revealed, "You tried to rewrite me, but I wrote back." And that one line summed it all up. Selena Gomez had been edited, silenced, doubted, but now she was narrating again. Her voice, her story, her timeline. Because no matter how much gets deleted, the truth always finds its way back to the surface. And for the first time in a long time, the world isn't watching a pop star trapped in her past. It's watching a woman rewrite her own ending. If you felt that too, don't forget to like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Because when Selena's new track drops, we'll be breaking it down lyric by lyric, and trust me, it's going to shake the entire internet.